Hello, welcome to today's video, welcome to today's vlog. I have another little reading vlog for you, but for today's reading vlog I thought it'd be fun to do a little what I realistically read in a week as a content creator, because I feel like in a lot of my reading vlogs you do get to see what I read and how much I read within a week, but I feel like you don't get to see specifically how much I read on individual days, and I just thought that would be really fun to kind of show you. And I've actually chosen to do this on a really busy work week because I have so much to do this week and so much that I want to get done. I'm actually going on holiday really soon, so this is kind of my week to pre-film because I want to make sure that I definitely have videos to go up for you guys. And I'm sure that I will film things on holiday as well, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to be in the mood to kind of be filming and editing during that time, or whether I'm just going to want to chill out. But I'm sure there will be some bits here and there. There'll definitely be some book and outfit of the days, or maybe mini vlogs. I don't know, I'm just going to see how I feel. But I want to definitely have videos ready to go up as well. So I have some pre-filming to do. I also have filming to do for this week. I have quite a few YouTube videos that are kind of in the works at the minute, so throughout the week I'm still filming and editing for those videos. So yesterday I actually filmed a summer book recommendations video, so I'm currently in the process of editing that, and then today my priority is to film a summer TBR video. So once that's filmed, that will also be in the process of editing. And I also have a weekly vlog on the go, and then this reading vlog as well. So I have quite a few different videos kind of in the works behind the scenes, and I also have some brand videos I need to film and send off to get approval. So I feel like it's gonna be a very busy week. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of see how much I actually read each day in a week that's as busy as this. So it's currently Monday, and the book that I'm currently reading is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the third one in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. It's the third and final one, which I'm so sad about. I'm literally going to be so sad when it's done. Having said that, I'm very, very close to the end. I have about 80 pages left, so I'm currently on page 292. And there's about 370 pages in here. I literally tried to pace myself with this book because I knew it was the last one in the series, but I just want to know what happens so bad. And my current thoughts, I think the pace of this is very similar to the first one, not in terms of plot, because I feel like the plot is more clear in this one. The first one I feel like I was quite confused a lot of the time, but not confused as in like I didn't know what was going on, just kind of, it felt very much like a fever dream. It felt very chaotic, but in a good way. And it's one of those where I knew what was going on when I was reading it. If someone was to ask me to explain it, I don't think I'd be able to. The second one I found super fast paced. It's currently my favourite in the series, and I read it so quickly. I was trying to slow myself down when I was reading that, but I literally couldn't because I was so hooked and invested in it, and I literally just couldn't put it down. So I was really intrigued to kind of see where she was going to take this one, especially after how everything was left in the second one. And it's been really interesting to kind of read this from where we start off. Without giving anything away, we've kind of gone back to square one, and it's been really interesting to read kind of Evangeline's character. I'm much preferring Evangeline in this one than I did in the first one. I think I actually said this in a reading vlog when I was reading the first one, but Evangeline came across as a very young and naive character, and that's fine because that is how she's meant to be. That is what her character is like, and I was really interested to kind of see her character arc and to see how she was going to grow and change as a character, and that's been really nice to see in this book because she definitely has, and I've actually grown to like her more in this one. I do still think she can be a bit naive at times, but I think she's a lot less so in this one than she is in the first one especially. But this one we also get different points of views, which we didn't get in the first two. The first two are all from Evangeline's perspective. This one has Apollo's point of view and Jack's point of view as well, which we love. I'm obsessed with Jax. I love him. I just love his whole character. He can do no wrong in my eyes. He can literally do no wrong. And my type is not usually blondes as well, so that's saying something. I like that we're seeing more of him, and literally every time he comes into a scene I'm like getting my pen out, underlining everything he says. That's how much I like him. And I'm just really excited to kind of see how it ends, even though I'm scared. And I'm gonna be so sad when it's done. I'm gonna be so sad, but I'm really excited. And I'm intrigued to see kind of how she's gonna wrap it all up and how she's gonna leave this series. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm gonna film now for my summer TBR YouTube video, and then I have a bit of editing that I want to get done, and then hopefully I'll be able to sit down and read some more of this. I'm really hoping to finish this today, but I don't know whether it'll be until later tonight that I actually get a chance to properly sit down and read it. I'm excited. Hello, good morning. Happy Tuesday. So as you might have seen last night, I read some more of this. I actually didn't finish it until this morning. Yesterday I had about 8 pages left and I read 40 something. I can actually double check that. So on Monday as a whole, I read 44 pages and today I finished the last 40 or so pages in A Curse for True Love. And I have kind of mixed feelings about it. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think I actually didn't have too many expectations, even though I was really excited for it. I didn't actually know really where she was going to take the plot, and I didn't have any ways that I desperately kind of wanted it to go. And like I said before, I kind of feel like we were kind of back at square one right at the start of the book, and that was really interesting to read, especially to kind of see Evangeline in that situation and see how her character kind of developed from the first book. I did think that this one was slower to start with, and it did kind of pick up around halfway through-ish, because I feel like the first half I literally had no idea where it was going to go, and then kind of halfway through I was like, oh okay, more stuff is kind of happening and we're kind of getting somewhere. I kind of wish we'd had more of Evangeline and Jax, and I know that there were quite a few scenes with them in, but I feel like I wish I'd seen a bit more of their dynamic and their relationship with each other during those scenes, and just how kind of special their connection is. I feel like we didn't really get that much of that, and there are quite a few things I feel like were left unanswered, which I'm kind of like, I don't mind because I still really enjoyed reading it, but I think when I actually sit and deep it too much, I'm like, actually, why did she not say anything about that? And there were some things I was really excited to find out that we just didn't, and they were kind of hinted at, like for example the epilogue in this. I was so excited when I was reading that because I was like, yes, finally. And then she literally gave us nothing. She gave us nothing. And I thought that was kind of frustrating because it kind of felt like she'd built this character that does certain things and hadn't actually thought why he does that. I could be mistaken, and I am very conscious that I haven't read the Caraval series either. And I think Jax appears in the Caraval series, so maybe that's spoken about in that series. I don't know because I haven't read it, but there was just something that I really wanted to know, or some build up during the plot that just kind of fell flat and that we didn't really get any answers to. But I only feel like that when I really sit and deep it basically, because overall I did enjoy it. It was a fun read, and if you kind of take it for what it is on face value, it is fun and it's a nice sort of wrap up of the whole series. I also kind of get the impression from the series that there's going to be another sort of spin-off series, but I don't know, I could be completely wrong. But a lot of this felt very much kind of like setting us up for another book, but not from Evangeline and Jack's perspective or anything to do with their relationship, more from like Lala's perspective. Like Lala and Dane were mentioned so much in this book, and we didn't really get an ending scene with Lala either, so it kind of makes me think maybe there could be another book, or maybe she's thinking about writing another book for them. And I don't know, this is why I have mixed feelings, because I just kind of feel like a lot of things could be explained a lot better, or when I really think about each individual character, I feel like I do have questions for every single one of them. And things either just weren't explained properly or that just weren't mentioned again. So that's kind of why I have mixed feelings about it, but I did have a fun time reading it. Don't know about my rating yet. I'm kind of stuck between 3.5 or a 4. It kind of gives me similar vibes to the first one, which I rated 4 stars, but I think it's just because it's the end of the series and I'm kind of like, why do I have so many questions, that I'm like, does that take the rating down? Probably. But I don't know yet. I'm gonna sit with it. Editing me will put up here what I actually ended up rating it. For now, I'm kind of stuck between 3.5 or a 4. We'll see when it's kind of settled in a bit more. I've decided today I'm gonna have an editing day where I just get as much editing as possible done. I don't think I'm gonna do any filming today. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And then today, just basically edit as much as I can. And I'd also like to start a new book, but I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for yet. So I'm gonna get on with some work and then pick my new book, and I'll update you when I've chosen. Just thought I'd give you a bit of an update because I started my next book. As you will have seen, I picked up Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I don't know whether it's Alicia or Alicia. And I'm about 70 pages in so far, and I don't know how I feel about it so far. I know I'm only 70 pages into a literal 300 and something page book, and I'm going to give it a proper go and keep reading. but there's just something about it that's just not connecting with me. I think it's because I don't really know what the plot is. It feels very, very character driven at the minute, and I don't feel like there's sort of a clear plot. And I read the back of this. It kind of just summarises what the two main characters are like, but doesn't really give us the plot. So I don't know if it's just going to be a very character driven book, which is fine. Some of my favourite books are very character driven, like Magnolia Parks, for example. So we'll have to see how it goes. But the thing that's really kind of jarring to me and kind of pulling me out of the story is the amount of references that are in this book. The modern day references she has in here, there's literally one on every single page. And don't get me wrong, I love it when a book includes like a modern day reference, and especially if it's a song or like a TV show that I absolutely love and I watch. When that's included in a story, I'm always like, oh, that's so cute. But when it's literally on every page, I find it kind of jarring because it's kind of like pulling me out of the story a bit. And it almost feels a bit like it's kind of trying too hard to be kind of modern and relatable. That's just what I'm finding so far. I think there's just too many because it kind of takes away how special it is when there's just one here and there. Just for TV shows, she's literally already mentioned Friends and The Office, and we're only 70 pages in. And not even just Friends, but specific episodes in Friends. And the same for The Office. Like, she goes on to explain. And I don't know, there's just something about that because it's done so often, it just doesn't feel as special. But so far, we've basically met our main character, Phoebe, and her father has basically recently passed away, and she goes back to his house to clear stuff out and put it up for sale. But her parents divorced when she was younger, so she actually lived with her mum like the majority of her life, and she wasn't really that close to her dad. But her brother actually stayed with her dad, so he was a lot closer with him. And they basically come back together to clear out this house and sell it. And she's basically staying in the house over the summer, and she meets her next door neighbour, who she's kind of has it in her head that he's some sort of serial killer, basically, or that he's acting really suspiciously and he's doing some really questionable things. And she's basically really obsessed with true crime, and she's currently writing an essay for her PhD about true crime. So she's very true crime focused. And I think that's just the way her mind works, is to just jump to the fact that this guy might be suspicious. But I would say that things he's done aren't really that questionable. And I feel like she's kind of playing up to the sort of true crime aspect of her character. So that's how I'm finding it so far. I am going to carry on with it, and I am interested to see where she's going to take this plot, because at the minute I have no idea where it's going to go. But I feel like there's been a lot of kind of setup and we haven't really got their dynamic or their interactions with each other yet. And I'm going to read some more tonight as well, and I'll update you in the morning on how many pages I read today. It's currently Wednesday, and I thought I'd just do a quick little update on how much I read yesterday on Tuesday, and also how I'm finding my current read. So yesterday I ended up reading 45 pages of A Curse for True Love, and that's when I finished it. And then I moved on to Love in the Time of Serial Killers, and I read 106 pages of this yesterday. So altogether I read 151 pages yesterday. Today we're starting from page 106. I've only read 10 pages so far. I've been filming all morning, and then this afternoon I'm going to edit, and then later tonight will be the time that I read some more of this. How I'm feeling is very similar to kind of what I said last night. I'm finding that there's just too many references. There's too many references. There's literally a reference on every single page, and I don't know what it is about it. It's just too much. It's too much. And some things that she says just kind of make me cringe. Like whenever she goes around to her neighbour's house or anything and he kind of takes it that she's doing something nice for him, she's like, "It's no big deal, my dude." And like she keeps saying "my dude," and I'm like, it's just making me cringe a bit. Not enough to stop reading it. I'm kind of intrigued to see where this plot is actually going to go, because I actually don't know what it's about yet. Like, I know it's about a girl and her neighbour and how she's really into true crime and she kind of thinks that he's a serial killer of some sorts. But like the actual plot, I don't feel like I know the plot. So I'm interested to kind of see where that goes and whether there is a plot kind of built or whether it's just kind of more character driven and more just them two interacting. I don't know yet. And the romance part I feel like hasn't really started yet either. So we'll see. We'll see. But they're my current thoughts. As you saw last night, I finished Love in the Time of Serial Killers. It's currently Friday, which means it's the last day of this vlog. I'm gonna do a wrap up of the week tomorrow and just go through how much I read each day and how many pages I read in the entire week. But let's talk about this one. I have come to the conclusion that this book has no plot. I feel like I was waiting for the plot the entire book and it just never came. Like, this is literally following Phoebe, our main girl, and she temporarily moves into her dad's house and she meets her next door neighbour, and it just literally follows her living her life. Like, she goes to the library, follow her going there. There's a cat that keeps lingering around her house and she has to decide whether she wants to keep it or not. Her brother wants to propose to his girlfriend and she's helping him plan that. But it's all very sort of mundane things that are happening. Like, it's literally just following her living her life. There's no real plot or direction that the book is going in. I also think that the main guy in this was just so bland. Like, he had no personality, and what I mean by that is that we didn't get to see him as a character. I feel like I don't really know him. I don't know his characteristics other than he's a bit shy at first, and then when she got to know him he was fun, but we never saw that fun side of him. We never really saw him as a character. He was just sort of there. There was also a lot of detail and information about her dissertation that she was writing, which I understand because that is the whole reason why it's titled this book, because she's currently working on an essay about true crime. But I feel like there was too much. Like, I felt like I was reading so much about her essay that it felt like I was writing it. And then on top of that, we also had meetings with her supervisor and we sat through all of them, and I kind of just felt like we were literally doing it for her. It also felt very much like instant love, like they were just obsessed with each other from the get-go. But what's weird is that I know that time is meant to have passed in this book and they're meant to have spent weeks and weeks together in each other's company, but we never really saw that, so it didn't actually feel like that when we were reading it. And then on top of that, we didn't really see their kind of connection. I didn't really get them as a couple. I didn't feel sort of the chemistry between them. They were meant to have spent all this time together, but then towards the end of the book, like 200 and something pages in, they realised that they didn't even know each other's age and they didn't know each other's middle names. And I'm like, how has that not come up? Like, especially the age thing, how has that not come up within the first few meetings of each other? It just kind of got the impression across that they'd spent all this time together but they hadn't actually got to know each other very much, which I feel like made them as a couple seem less believable, and I was just not invested in them. I also found our main character Phoebe quite annoying at times, and that's one of the first times this has happened to me where a main character has kind of got on my nerves. I feel like that doesn't happen very often, but I feel like it was mainly to do with the amount of references, which I talked about before. The references didn't end. They didn't end. They continued to the whole book right up until the very last page. And it was just too much. And I also didn't like that she kept calling him dude all the time. That just kind of was jarring for me to read. So they're my thoughts. I'm gonna give it a rating of a 2.5. That could possibly go down to just a 2. I think on Goodreads I'll rate it just a 2. This book just wasn't for me. I partly think maybe I should have DNF'd it, but I was kind of hoping for the plot to pick up. I'm kind of surprised at how much it was literally just following her going around her life. So that's my thoughts on Love in the Time of Serial Killers. I'm going to move on to my next book, and the one that's calling out to me the most today is Good Half Gone by Taryn Fisher. This is a little psychological thriller, and I've been so excited about this ever since I picked it up. From what I got, this is about Iris, who saw her twin sister get kidnapped when they were younger, and now she's grown up, she's an adult now, and she wants to find proof of this happening, and I think she wants to find out what actually happened that day. And I don't know why, but it says on the back, in order to do this, she starts by interning at a hospital for the criminally insane. So it sounds like it's going to be my type of thing, and I'm hoping this is going to be a fast-paced, twisty little thriller. It's also quite short, like it feels like a little ditty book. How many pages even is it? It's still a 300-page book. I'm going to start this one today at some point. Work-wise, I'm going to have a pretty chilled day. I have got some editing that I'd like to get done today. Other than that, I'm going to have a pretty chilled day because I think I'm going to have a big filming day tomorrow, so I'm just going to kind of take it a bit easier today and just chill out, edit a bit, and read some of my book. time for a little wrap up of the week. Before I do that, let's talk about my current read, which is Good Have Gone. I read 38 pages on Friday and then I actually read some more this morning. I'm really enjoying this so far, and I will definitely keep you updated on my other social media platforms, which are always linked in the description, because our Monday to Friday week of reading has finished. I will definitely keep you updated on how I'm finding this, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. From the get-go it's very fast paced, which I feel like is exactly what you need in a psychological thriller. I'm literally hooked from page one, so I feel like that's a good sign, and I have high hopes for the rest of this, and I hope that we're going to get some twists and turns throughout the end of this. So as for our little reading wrap up, I'm going to go through each individual day and then we'll add up how much I actually read overall. So on Monday we were reading A Curse for True Love and I read 44 pages of this. Tuesday I read 45 pages and finished this, and then I also started Love in the Time of Serial Killers, which I read 106 pages of, and then Wednesday I read 96 pages, Thursday 132 pages, which meant that I'd finished this, and then I moved on to Good Have Gone, which we read 38 pages of this. So overall, let's just add all that up. So overall this week from Monday to Friday I read 461 pages. Crazy. And as for books, I finished one, read a whole one, and started another. So I feel like it's been a pretty good week, especially considering how much work and editing I was doing this week as well. This has been a really fun little reading vlog to do, and it's been so interesting just to see how much I can actually read each day. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed this little reading vlog, and I will hopefully see you in my next video.